Hey guys, so the Machu Picchu portion of our travel vlog starts in Aguas Calientes because although you can go straight to Machu Picchu from Lima, Peru, we had to take a break in this beautiful city of Aguas Calientes, which means hot waters in Spanish. And yeah, we had to take a break because we were tired. So from Lima, Peru, you can actually take a flight to Cusco, and then there's multiple different ways you can get to Machu Picchu from Cusco, but we actually went to we took a train, a bus, and a taxi to Aguas Calientes, and then from Aguas Calientes you can go straight and take a bus to Machu Picchu, but we were exhausted, so we didn't take the bus till the next morning. But we got there, and here's us walking in the entrance, and here's my dad taking a selfie. So here we are just taking the shortcut up to the view and the entrance of Machu Picchu. A lot of people actually do the Inca Trail, which is a hike for 3 days up to the entrance, but we decided to do the shortcut because, you know, that was a lot. Eventually one day I do want to do that hike because it is sick. There's a lot of cool drop-offs, really nice views, but this hike was short, cute. Wasn't too many switchbacks. It was great. Now here you guys can see Machu Picchu, which is that really big mountain in the back, and then you can see the city of Machu Picchu right there. My dad got a photo, of course, and I'm zooming in just so you guys can see how well this city is preserved. Now it's crazy because this city was actually built in the 15th century, which is a very long time ago. And it was discovered by Hiram Bingham, which was a Yale University professor. So it's cool. It's really cool that we get to still see how the Incans lived, and you can see everyone trying to get their picture with this really cool view. And this is our tour guide, Edgar. He was a really cool guy. He was telling us that during high season there's actually almost 8,000 people that come here a day to visit, and as you can see there's so many tourists even here today, and it wasn't even high season, so it was a lot of people here. Now the altitude up here is crazy. It's literally 7,970 feet above sea level, so that's why you see the clouds, they look like they're so close because we're just so high up. So this is a cute little alpaca that we got to see, and he's just minding his business, just chilling, so that was cool. And here we got to really the coolest point, which was I got to sit down and kind of put my feet over and really get this super cool shot for you guys of Machu Picchu, so that was cool. And here once again it's remarkable the preservation of all of these historical sites. This is a ceremonial rock that they use to do their religious services, and now we're kind of walking down to get into the city and really explore inside of the city, and so it's super cool. Check out this view, guys. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. So now we're kind of heading into the entrance of the city. You can see Machu Picchu, that big mountain in the back. And what I really want you guys to see is the fact that these stones are literally perfectly placed and were able to hold up for such a long time without any mortar. They didn't have mortar back then, so they literally had to cut these dry stones into the perfect shape to fit perfectly into one another and be able to make these buildings.
Protein, and pita. Guys, look at the lunch.
So yeah, our tour guide was actually joking that that bug was going to be the lunch provided for us during the tour. He is so silly. But yeah, you guys can see these perfectly placed stones, and then over here these things that look like steps are actually terraces, and that's what they use to actually farm and grow over 100 different kinds of corn and potatoes, which is super cool. And in Peru they actually have a drink made out of purple corn called chincha morada, and it is so good. So as you can see, they're very creative, and they made a lot of ways for them to be able to survive up here. They use their creativity. And then Here, the tour guide was explaining that there are actually Incan descendants that still live in these mountains today, and they live right in here. I'm gonna kind of zoom in so you guys can see, like, there's some white dots that are their houses, but the rest of the houses, really, you can't see them from here, but they do live in there. And that is a really cool view of the mountain. So basically, I'm gonna let the tour guide start talking now, but you know, his English is really not the best, so I'm not sure if you guys are gonna understand him, but you know, just give him some slack.
This is the temple of the god. My god, the name is Huiracocha.
Okay, so pause. If you guys didn't get that, he's basically saying that he actually worships the god called Huiracocha, and that means earth. That is actually Quechuan for earth. And he still speaks the Incan language of Quechua, as well as Spanish and as well as English. And that temple that is behind him is actually the temple of the gods that the Incans would use to perform different sacrifices for their different gods.
Huiracocha, like a earth. Basically, in Inca's time, the case to use place ceremonies or maybe sacrifice animals. Look at the big rock like an altar, like a table. And also in the niches, to use place idols just for decoration. The question now is, this wall falling down, what happened? Not the wall falling down.
So for all the people who are having a little bit of difficulty understanding him, I'm just going to paraphrase what he's saying. And so in the back, you can see that the temple is a little bit falling down and kind of dilapidated. And that's because Peru has a lot of earthquakes, and the Incas knew that. And so they engineered the stones to be able to bounce up and down when there was an earthquake and not to completely collapse. So this temple was very important to them, which is why they made sure that all of this was built very, very well and could withstand multiple earthquakes. And this is actually where they would offer a lot of sacrifices. They would offer sacrifices like animals, but as well human sacrifices. But it was a very honorable thing to be able to be chosen as a sacrifice. And a lot of kids would actually line up and be excited to be the one chosen to be sacrificed to the gods. So as we walk around here and kind of get to see it, this is actually the central plaza right in the middle of the city. The question definitely becomes, well, what happened to the Incas? Where did they go? As you guys can see here, there's still a lot of just land. There's a big rock here, and that kind of leaves archaeologists thinking that this city was actually unfinished, because there are so many just big random rocks that they brought up here, but they didn't finish cutting it into stones and building things. So archaeologists think that this city is unfinished, and that is because of the Spanish conquistadors that actually came here and really threatened the Incas, and the Incas had to flee. So here is just me walking down the steps, and the rest of my tour guide group walking down and getting to see all the different rooms and just really all the detail of the engineering of the Incas. And here is still some more footage of the mountains, and it is truly just a really breathtaking, astounding sight to really be able to walk here. Now that is Machu Picchu again, and a lot of people actually hike that, but my dad was definitely not feeling that on the day that we visited. So, but it would be a super cool view to look down from that mountain at everything. And that river down there is actually the Urubamba River. So this is where our tour kind of comes to an end, and there's a lot of questions that we have about Machu Picchu that, you know, archaeologists don't really have an answer for. For example, we don't even know if Machu Picchu is the real name of the city. There are actually two mountains that Machu Picchu is right in between. One of them I showed you guys, which is Huayna Picchu, and another one, it was Machu Picchu. It's a little smaller, so I didn't really get to show you guys it, but Huayna Picchu actually is Quechua for big mountain, and Machu Picchu is Quechua for small mountain. And the people, the Peruvians that lived around here, just started calling the city after Machu Picchu, and it just kind of stuck. But we don't really know what the name of it is because Incans did not have a written language, so they didn't leave behind any drawings, any kind of writings, nothing for us to be able to figure out what exactly this place was. A lot of people think that maybe it was a university and 1,000 people at a time came, lived here and studied, but not really sure. Here there's a building that was perfectly preserved, which is so cool. It still has the roof and everything intact, and we're not really sure what exactly this is for either. There's a lot of theories, but the city might have also been a religious kind of center. Maybe a lot of people took the trek up here to do sort of like a religious experience and sacrifice and worship the gods. But whatever this place exactly was for and this city was built for, it's super cool, and we're so lucky that it's been able to be preserved for such a long time and that we get to see it today. So now we are actually driving into the desert of Peru, and a lot of Peru is actually made up of desert, and we're driving there because that is where the Nazca Lines actually are able to be seen. And here we are going into the plane that we will use to fly over the Nazca Lines, because you can't actually see them unless you're really high above them. So our two seats were right behind the pilot and the co-pilot, and so I'm just kind of showing you guys the view from the plane, and it's super cool. I've never really been in such a small plane where you can really like see the co-pilot and the pilot like flying the plane. And it literally looks like a whole like video game. Like, I'm zooming in here so you guys can see it. Like, they're pressing all the buttons, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like really happening, and it's really cool. But anyway, so more about the Nazca Lines. So the Nazca Lines were actually built in the year 500 by the indigenous Nazca people. Here you can see a monkey, which is one of the drawings, and here you can also see a spiral perfectly. So yeah, the Nazca people really made these drawings in the middle of the desert, and I mean, right now, archaeologists really aren't sure how they were able to make these, because as you guys can see, they're literally super precise, like they're perfect. But how were they able to see what they were making if they didn't have planes at the time or any way to really get up super high? So it's really a mystery. I mean, I don't even know really. I can't wrap my head around it. A lot of theories say that maybe, just maybe, aliens came down and helped them, or maybe fallen angels. Who knows? So this here that I'm zooming in on is a condor. So archaeologists don't really know also why they made these drawings, but they think that maybe they made these drawings so that the gods would, so they could get the gods' attention, and the gods would send down rain to the Nazca people. Now here is a parrot. This is kind of their interpretation of what a parrot looks like and how they drew things. So it's really cool. Now I got really sick on this plane, guys, so I wasn't able to get the full 14 or 15 like footage of the 14 or 15 animals, because they had a lot. They had like an astronaut, they had, here is a flower, they had like a spider, they had a lot, and in total there's 70 of these shapes and drawings, but I couldn't get all of them. I was just about to vomit, but these are the ones I got. So guys, thank you so much for checking out my vlog, and I'll see you guys later.